Okay, so Twitter cancel culture.
Twitter
Basic,
bad.
so basically exposing people for every single wrong thing they've ever done since they were a baby, just exposing it online and basically ruining them. Um, Certainly, some things definitely need to be exposed. Some things can't be hidden forever. But what I've seen a lot nowadays is a person will um, come out with a position, whether it's political or not, because I see it on the sports world. I see it on the sports world too. But then people come up exposing how previous things they've said completely denies this. So like you're just wrong in periods without really taking into consideration that a person can change their mind and change their views. I mean, my political views changed in the middle of high school. So obviously things can change, and I wouldn't want to be held to anything I said my freshman or sophomore year compared to things I said my junior or senior year. So
Yeah, if you showed a picture of me in middle school and said, "This is Jacob Fry now," that'd be pretty inaccurate and also a little scary because middle school photos are scary.
So like I know like we talk about like how politicians use it. I mean there's a way you can I mean you see some people use it in a very professional way. Like they basically said with all due respect, this is not something you've said before. So if this is what you believe now, you need to come out and explain what happened, what changed. And all that stuff. You see some congressmen do that, but then you also see some people as Congress people that we have voted into office who come at it as if they are a 15-year-old who just got a new Twitter handle. So certainly I think you need to take a look at, especially people who are notable figures in our society, how they choose to use this, because I have not been impressed with how some congressmen have handled themselves. And at times if we're going to throw ourselves on, and how our own president sometimes handles themselves on Twitter. So professionalism, especially at that level, is so important. And if we throw that away, our government's going to get even worse. So
yeah, I feel like there's a happy medium, and it's gone too far. Like I don't care if what was one of the recent ones. I don't really care about what Shane Dawson did 10 years ago. I don't really care that suddenly people are realizing that Joji is also Filthy Frank or stuff like that. I do kind of care though if like Justin Trudeau, has pictures of blackface and stuff. That matters to me a lot more than YouTubers and crap.
well, yeah, but you saw people come after Elizabeth Warren because Elizabeth Warren for a long time was a registered Republican. So people are like, how could you call yourself a progressive Democrat if you were once a Republican? Because her views changed to become a progressive Democrat. I guess people sometimes get way too stuck in that people never change, but people do change. We've all witnessed people change in front of our eyes. So
yeah.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Colton, do you have any take on cancel culture?
Yeah, I mean, people change their views all the time. I mean, I certainly do. I was a way different person early high school days. But even Donald Trump you're talking about Elizabeth Warren being a conservative and a Republican, now a progressive Democrat. Donald Trump was even a Democrat before he ran for president as a Republican. The opinions definitely change. And professionalism within politics, I think, while it is very important, I don't want people to not say what they're thinking for the sake of professionalism. I'd rather them speak their mind and speak what they're thinking and avoid PC or political correctness.
Yeah, I do understand that. but I think there's always a way to come about it with at least some semblance of respect towards the other individual. I think there's always a way that you can phrase something so you don't look like a child. Pretty much, we don't need major figures acting like children, because that really only makes this problem worse. These are people that we trust to make big decisions in our government. Whether or not they actually make them, that's another thing for another time. But if they are going to pretty much be yelling at Twitter at random people, because I've seen that too, then that just kind of, to me that just kind of turns into somebody that you don't want really making big decisions and making laws in our country. You might disagree with that, but I'm not saying they have to be super politically correct, but a semblance of them being a grown-up adult would be nice.
I understand your viewpoint there. I guess I could see what you're saying, but I'd just rather them speak what they're thinking and then have people judge them based off of that, and instead of having them.
That's a fair viewpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if a politician needs to get pissed, if a politician needs to, say a curse word to make a point, I think that's very excellent, and I think that's very important. But it feels like, especially nowadays, that we're always cranked up to 11. Mm-hmm. We're always yelling at each other.
Yeah.
And there's never this like, we're both dealing with this, let's try to work together and fix it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Going back to COVID-19 for a little bit, that's going to have to be something our Republicans and Democrats, they have to come together and do it. That's not something that we can be handled on a partisan level. That has to be done together.
And I think that's something that maybe I'm just bullshitting it here or something, but I think that's something that Donald Trump promised in his campaign. He wanted to clear the swamp, and I think that's what he was minting by that, was get rid of the people who have been in there forever and don't want to come together with each other. And I think that's something that he wanted to do, and he's not doing right now. That's one criticism I do have of him.
Yeah, obviously all politicians say things and then don't do them.
Yeah.
But that was, there was a little bit of me who had hope in 2016 that Donald Trump would not listen to people like Mitch McConnell, and he wouldn't put former Goldman Sachs bankers in his cabinet, stuff like that.
Or make an oil tycoon your Secretary of State for a while. Secretary or something like that. Yeah.
And like, once again, every politician does this. He said things then didn't do them. Yeah. And other things that we thought that he was saying and he wasn't going to do, he is doing those. I remember in 2016 debating or talking about how Donald Trump's like wall plan is irrational and a crazy idea, and people would tell me, oh, he's just trying to make a point on immigration. And now, 3.5 years later, he talks about painting the wall black. He talks about, how we need this, we need that for it, and how it's going into motion.
I will say that he's definitely done a lot of things that he promised he would do, like pulling us out of the Paris climate agreement and trying to get the wall to be built, bombing Syria, even though that was kind of a iffy thing. I didn't quite agree with that either, but he did it for some reason. So, can't change that.
Yeah, we can't unbomb Syria.
No, we can't.
No Control Z on that one.
All right.